What's popping y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we are doing a other film review. First, before we start, we might notice that this isn't my voice. I have been very busy, and my voice has gone, so for now I will be using this voice, but these words are all mine. It is still all my own thoughts and opinions, just not my voice saying them. I once again apologize for the inconvenience, and with that out of the way, we can jump straight into the review. I've seen Stranger Things happen but 5 full seasons before GTA 6 is wild. The final season has finally made its debut after 3 long years of waiting. So I'm not going to make you wait another second to take a look at Stranger Things Season 5. So let's hop on our bikes and ride to see what Google has to say. Stranger Things Season 5 is a 2025 series exclusively on Netflix and has been stupidly split into 3 parts. It has 8 episodes, with 4 being released in part 1-2 on Christmas and 2 on New Year's Eve. Each episode is over an hour long, but entirely worth it. The fall of 1987. Hawkins is scarred by the opening of the rifts, and our heroes are united by a single goal: find and kill Vecna. But he has vanished, his whereabouts and plans unknown. Complicating their mission, the government has placed the town under military quarantine and intensified its hunt for Eleven, forcing her back into hiding. As the anniversary of Will's disappearance approaches, so does a heavy, familiar dread. The final battle is looming, and with it, a darkness more powerful and more deadly than anything they've faced before. To end this nightmare, they'll need everyone to have a full party standing together, one last time. It opens with a date like we are going to remember the date of when Will was kidnapped, but we have a few cool scenes where there is action, and catching up with the characters, and how they're getting on a year after Hawkins has been ripped a new arsehole. The massive fan theory of Vecna being Mike's mum's brother is wrong because she gets Merced at the start of episode 2, and we get a good shot Nancy having a breakdown washing her mum's blood off her hands. That's not a nice thing to ever have to do, and it's portrayed well with the jump cuts getting faster and faster. I did expect her parents to put up more of a fight than they did. They had their own character posters and everything. I was waiting for Bill Walkham Down Wheeler to pull up and beat the Demogorgon's ass, but it was a letdown and he got bodied. I just wanted to see where Nancy got it from. Speaking of being bodied, little Susie got ragdolled around the room to no one's knowledge. Like FR. No one heard that? Silly. Dustin is missing for the whole 2nd episode as he's got his arse handed to him by the bullies because he's defending Eddie and he's struggling with Eddie's loss more than anyone else, making him lose his light. It's having an effect on his and Steve's relationship, making tension in the group. Steve is a massive cause of tension in the group, with Jonathan trying to be a macho man and take Nancy back. The CGI has had a massive improvement, with the Demogorgons looking so much better this season, and us seeing a lot more of them than in the past. Robin and Will had their first one-on-one, and it is Robin explaining her sexuality to him, and I'm hoping it leads to him coming out in the end. If I'm making predictions, Mike gave Holly a hand figure and said that she can open portals, so if Holly isn't opening portals by the end, I'd be shocked. She does have a new friend who is a mystery character for 2 episodes called Mr. Whatsit, but it's just Vecna in his human form, so I wasn't too shocked and did actually call it. Part 2 has 3 episodes and basically has 2 more running up that hill moments and shows that Netflix really wants to milk it to make $1 million. It's continuing with everyone meeting back up together, a very easy to understand breakup scene with John and Nancy that I was so surprised to see everyone not get. When I went online, they bitterly said, "Don't marry, it's simple, it's easy, it makes sense." Their relationship had been crumbling for a while now. It makes sense, people just have no idea. There were also a lot of emotions on Dustin and Steve's. They argued and forgave each other, said sorry, and just cleared the air they were building in Vol 1, which made me worry for Steve's Safi. Sighed as they didn't want each other to die, and a new quote for loved ones to use: "You die, I die." A quote they have had for a whole now in the show. It was very strange how it had a whole Vecna scene, and I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable, and I wouldn't be able to walk around with that on me without getting overwhelmed. The Upside Down is also answered to be a wormhole between the abyss and the human world. Very exciting because I love alternate worlds and dimensions, so more lore the better. It was spoon-fed to us through the episodes, and a lot of people were talking about wormholes. We have 2 new members join the team with or instead girlfriend and their math teacher. Okay, they are just letting anyone join at this point. Holly got jumped by the other kids, and they broke her drip, so she lost Holly the heroic. That's not going to be a problem in Vol 3 when she can't leave or open a portal. Steve had the best idea, ever making him the most useful on the team. Vol 2 ended with the team getting ready and stroking the upside down very bad ass, but they also had a Will coming out scene, which personally I think was dragged out for views. Everyone knew he was gay and liked Mike, and we had been saying it for ages. I did like, however, that Robin was like a mum in this scene looking out for him and being very proud of him. Although Robin has been getting way too comfortable with this group making a dick joke about Steve. I did laugh. It was funny. Anyway, I feel like yes, it was important for him to overcome his fear so Vecna has nothing to use against him, or for him to have nothing to hide in the final fight for Vecna to feed on, but it was very drawn out. However, I will say that this was Noah's best performance all season. I feel like a few of the actors have been very subpar this season, and or may not be them, it may be the writing, but I am just saying something is off, man. Idku told Millie she had to hold the Riz face to mog everyone, but that's what she went for, and with 7 hours of cut content, I feel like this scene could have been shorter. But that leaves us to Vol 3, the final episode, and the last 2 hours of Stranger Things ever. I want to start with the Steve fake-out death. There was no need, that was mean. I was on the edge of my seat. I hated that. But it was important to bring closure to the Jonathan and Steve arc. Bring them closer together and start them on the road to being friends. We have everyone do their part to take down Vecna in no less than 6 mins, might I add, in a 2-hour episode. We have a lot of setup for it, and it ends with Eleven staying inside the Upside Down and sacrificing herself to stop the cycle of experimentation. Although she did have a fake-out death earlier the episode with Hopper shooting her, with her sister dying beforehand. I didn't like Kali and thought she was going to be a bad guy. She was being very mysterious with what she was saying, so I always had a bad feeling, but was very excited to see her actually do good and prove me wrong, or I think she did. It was always left for interpretation whether Eleven lived or died. It is always tiring being written, because I predicted a lot of things in this final with Vecna being impaired on a tooth. The thing in the case would be how Vecna got his powers, the beating thing in his hideout being a heart and Steve not dying. The big monster was cool, but did look like it had a vagina for head. The CGI was very good. I was confused where Vecna's army was, like where the Demagorgons, Demodogs, and Democrats were, as it could have made for an awesome final to have them fight through them. I feel like Steve and Dustin also put themselves in unnecessary danger by going under the beast to attack. They didn't need to do that, and I feel like they didn't contribute as much as they thought they did. No one died, which was nice as everyone got their happy ending, but it didn't feel as impactful as a sacrifice could have been. Also, while everyone was fighting, they all did their bit, but Joyce, who just showed up to finish Vecna off, she didn't really help fighting the big beast and Ike, where she sloped off too, but I would have liked her to have done a little more. Everyone got a lot of flashbacks when Vecna died to reminisce about the whole show and previous seasons, but there were just so many flashbacks it got repetitive and boring. I know I complained about the Will coming out being dragged out, but Dame, I'm sorry, the ending was dragged out. There didn't need to be all this at the end. It was nice, yes, but I would have preferred the fight with Vecna to be longer. I would like to point out how they breathed in the abyss with no oxygen and no trees. However, it did end everyone's character on a nice note. I love how Steve and the older lot were drinking on a roof planning to meet up once a month, but any young adult knows that that is never going to happen. It's just not possible as you get older, unfortunately. But I did almost cry at this scene, as it had all my favorites saying goodbye to the show. I liked how in the end they all played, and one last time bringing it full circle, bringing it back to the start of the show where they were playing it, and passing the torch to Holly and her friends to continue the journey. It was nice to see them all put their books back like a final hanging of the coat to say goodbye to the characters. Overall, as a final season, I think this was done well. Unfortunately, it didn't get any tears out of me, but it did good, and I'd give it a solid 8/10. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Other than that, I think that wrapped it up, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay home and stay safe.